every one of us to the end of time. I'm glad that I have not received any notes that says I have to speak Yoruba, because as you know, I'm a Nupe man from Lafiagi town in the local government of Kwara State. So speaking Yoruba should be out of my assignment. The only language I can speak after English is Nupe language. And I'm sure my brother is here, Dr. Hamza is here. He's a Nupe man. But I don't know if you have any other Nupe person here. But Nupe Chidawo, Nupe Chiwo. Oh, I'm all Nupe. Okay, that's good. Let me begin by appreciating the organizers of this program for finding me worthy of invitation. I sincerely appreciate the work you have been doing. I know this is not the first and definitely not going to be the last. My only prayer is that you increase the frequency of this program. It should not be just an annual program. At least let's have it thrice in a year after each performance. You know, of course, everything Allah has given them. But this is what we have. So let's see how I can run my mouth within the 40 minutes I've been given to make some sense, if possible. You see, ideally, there are 3 reasons why people get married. I know my topic is a complex one. I've been asked to speak about the making of the Muslim home, and also to talk about the Sharia compliant multiple relationship, in other words, polygyny. Ideally, when people get married, there are only 3 reasons why they marry. Only 3 reasons. Any other reason is secondary. But primarily, people marry for 3 reasons. The first reason is companionship. To have someone who they can call my companion. The second reason is comfort, to find peace and comfort and tranquility. And the fourth reason is sexual gratification. These are the 3 major reasons why people get married. In today's world, you can get 2 out of these 3 reasons of marriage free of charge. Free of charge. Sexual gratification today, in fact, is being upped. They now up sex all around. So if that is the only reason for marriage in today's world, many people will not even bother to get married because this is something you get outside of marriage, but they have it there. The second reason, which is comfort. People can get comfort today through friends, through their girlfriends and boyfriends, whatever, even without marriage. All you need is someone you can, just someone that can give you peace of mind. There are guys today that will tell you, look, all I need is a baby mama, I don't want a wife. There are girls that will also say, look, all I want is just someone that will spend on me, take care of me, I don't need to be married. But you see, the last point, which is companionship. True companionship can only be obtained through marriage. And this is why as men and as women, we must be careful the way we treat one another, especially in the early days of our marriage. Sheikh Kabir, that's why I mentioned it. If you treat your wife like trash in the early years of marriage, some women can endure. They can take your shit, eat your shalanga for you, wait until you are weak and feeble and vulnerable, and then they return it back to you, back to back, where you can do them nothing. Some men can also endure your shenanigans, your charade in the early years of marriage. Wait until when they can properly deal with you, when they know you have nowhere to go, and then they unleash their beast mode. So as couples, let us understand that the fundamental basis of the Islamic marriage is what our Imam mentioned. لِتَسْكُنُوا إِلَيْهَا, to enjoy comfort. وَجَعَلَ بَيْنَكُمْ مَوَدَّةً وَرَحْمَةً, someone you can share affection and compassion with. The reason why Islam has built marriage, a happy home, on these principles is because even though love and affection, fluctuates, you can't have 100% love all through. It's not possible. Even as a human being, as a single, there are some of your clothes you like more than others, right? Sometimes, you just don't feel like moods change. But you see, one thing that must remain constant in marriage is that compassion. So even when affection decreases, compassion must remain constant. And it is that compassion that will keep you going, irrespective of the challenges that you are going through in your marriage. So long as you still see one another as complementary, my spouse, even when he has, when he doesn't have, even when she has lost that beauty that attracted you to her initially, the compassion with which you started your journey must remain constant till the end. It must never decrease. It must never wane. I have a personal coach. I don't know how I got it, but I just know that nobody said it before me. I'm the first and only person that has ever said this. Home is not where the body finds rest, but where the heart finds peace. And so, if you want to build an ideal Muslim home, it must go beyond where you go, to work and return to and sleep. It must be somewhere where even when you are not in the physical home, your heart still finds peace. And that is why Almighty Allah described women with 3 adjectives in the Quran. These adjectives are the makers of an ideal Muslim home. Number 1, Almighty Allah called them sakina, peace of mind. وَمِنْ آيَاتِهِ أَنْ خَلَقَ لَكُم مِّنْ أَنفُسِكُمْ أَزْوَاجًا لِتَسْكُنُوا إِلَيْهَا. Someone that, whether you are physically present together or not, you have rest of mind in her character, in her disposition, in everything about her. Someone that even when the outside is troubling, you can go back to and find peace and rest and harmony and tranquility. But if you want peace, you have to give it. Number 2, Almighty Allah called women as harth, a tilt. If you are a farmer, if you have ever been a farmer in your life, you know that the most important thing to a farmer is his farmland. A farmer knows the right season to plant, the right season to irrigate in case there is no water, the right season to fertilize his crops, the right season to harvest, the right season to plow. That is how a man must treat his wife. You must treat your wife like a farmland where your living and livelihood depends on the kind of fruit that it bears. And so you must give it everything it needs so that it can also give you the fruit you need in return. So the woman is as precious as the farmland is to the farmer. Right? When we talk about sakina, I mentioned sakina earlier. You see, from the word sin, kaf, nun, the Arabs extracted sakan, a house. They extracted sakina, a knife with which you can cut, which you can, make plans and navigate your life. Then Almighty Allah called women the third thing as garments. Almighty Allah says, "Hunna libasun lakum wa antum libasun lahunna." Both of you are garment for one another. Now I want you to take a look at me. I'm wearing a cloth that is well sewn. The embroidery is fine. The cap matches the cloth, right? It looks beautiful on me. This is how every man must treat his wife, and this is how every woman must treat her husband. Almighty Allah calls you garment for one another. If you know how much importance some of us attach to our garments, we choose the right material, right? Expensive ones, not the ones you wash once, twice, and they are faded. We choose the right tailor to sew the clothes. We choose the right embroidery. We wash the clothes. We starch the clothes. We iron the clothes. We perfume the clothes. And we wear the clothes to important occasions so that people can see us. This is how Almighty Allah wants us to treat our marriages. Care, affection, carefulness, kindness, precision, thoroughness, and what have you. So if we see one another as garments that cover our flaws, our mistakes, our errors. As I'm standing before you, nobody knows how my body really looks like, but my wife knows. But when I wear clothes and come outside, how many of you can say, yeah, what my body looks like? I am covered by this clothes. I must cover the flaws of my husband as a wife. I must cover the flaws of my wife as a husband.
it must not be publicized. It must not be seen by outsiders. We are protectors of one another. But most importantly, the man holds the haze. He is the qawwam for his wife. So, if this is what the Muslim home should look like, then what are those things that we should put in place to build an ideal Muslim home? Number one, and this is fundamental, is our intention. Our intention for marriage has to be to fulfill the responsibilities we owe Almighty Allah and the ones we owe one another. Marriage should not be based solely on I need a partner for sexual gratification. It shouldn't be, because this will mean that when there are issues in the other room, the whole marriage comes crumbling. So the intention has to be, I want to fulfill the right of Almighty Allah on me and the right of my spouse on me. So intention is important. Innamal a'mal binniyat. Number two is piety. When you look at the way Almighty Allah has structured our responsibilities as human beings, they are always structured around the concept of piety. Wattaqullah, wattaqullah, wattaqullah. Continually. In fact, when Almighty Allah was talking about marriage, about sexual gratification between couples, Almighty Allah used wattaqullah twice in the same verse. Nisa'ukum harthun lakum fa'tu harthakum anna shi'tum wa qaddimu li anfusikum wattaqullah. Your wife are a tilt for you. Approach your tilt anyhow you deem fit, anyhow you like, and make plant seed for yourself. Qaddimu li anfusikum. That have sexual intercourse and have hope that Almighty Allah will give you offspring and thereabout. And then he says, wattaqullah, and fear Allah. So the fear of Allah has to guide us. If you want to be an ideal home, we must fear Allah in the way we treat one another. Sometimes people think that marriage, being a contract, is as simple as any other contract of give and take. Like, if you do me bas, I do you boss. Marriage is different from that. In marriage, boss can only lead to disrupting the marital life and causing problem for society. Even if your spouse denies you your right, as a responsible man or as a responsible woman, what you should do is, while seeking your right from your spouse, fulfill your own right to your spouse. Don't say, if you don't feed me, no sexual intercourse. If you don't give me sexual intercourse, no feeding. There can't be marriage like that. It doesn't work that way. So while we continue to admonish one another and ask for our rights, let's ensure that we also fulfill our responsibilities towards one another. We must be ready to make sacrifices. Marriage is not a military zone where some of us are too serious in our marriages. You can't enjoy your marriage if you are too serious, as if you are in your workplace. In marriage, you must make sacrifices. Sometimes you don't even ask for your rights. You just believe that it is going to be given, and you sacrifice to make the home happy. Do you know the Prophet ﷺ said, lying, la yahillu al-kadhibu illa li thalathin. Lying is not permissible except on 3 occasions. And do you know that one of the occasions for which lying is permissible is when a man lies to his wife in order to make her happy? Now, not lying to deceive or to cause harm, but you know that your wife will not be happy if you give other than that response. Shemara iPhone 15 Pro Max fún mi, ó sì mọ̀ pé ò ní wẹ̀ pẹ̀lú ògo Ọlọ́run àmọ̀kẹ́ ìhera, ó sì mọ̀ pé ọ̀ka. But you know that is what will make her happy in that moment. Ẹ̀wọ̀n tí Shariah tó ṣẹ̀mọ̀ permitted us, even though lying is not allowed. Then I also mentioned here love and compassion. These are deal breakers. Any marriage that is devoid of love and compassion should never exist in the first place. Kò sí fẹ́ kò sí kẹ́, kò yẹ kí marriage yìí wà. And that's why I mentioned it here, that he told somebody, and the person say, that's why come ferawa. Well, if that is what it takes, it's a deal breaker. If there is no love, and love should not be zero, there should be compassion. There should be compassion. But of course, I said love fluctuates. But no love, no compassion, just find your way outside that marriage. Communication. We cannot build an ideal home today if communication is zero. Now, one of the problems we have in today's Muslim homes is our gadgets. Our phones have taken our attention away from our spouses. Two individuals, married people, will be on the same bed. They will not be talking to each other. Each of them is busy talking to a stranger out there. And then until their phone falls off, the only time they talk is when they want to have sexual intercourse. It should not be like that. There should be discipline in the house. When you are at home, there should be time when you can attend to the outside world with your phones, and time when you drop your phones and said, my spouse, it is me and you. No other person is taking this time from us. Imagine going to work from morning and coming back around 6-7 p.m. and then you're on the phone again until 9 p.m. So what time are you discussing with your spouse actually? Now sometimes even the rubbish you talk with your spouse is part of communication. It doesn't have to be serious. Just don't backbite and slander. Torí yìí ò lágbára. Ọkọ mi gbà tẹ̀ sílé. Ìyá Sàfú àti bàbá Sàfú wọ́n fẹ́ lura wọn kú. Don't go there. Don't go there. Communication doesn't have to be verbal. It could be non-verbal. In fact, sometimes looking at your spouse and admiring how beautiful she is, how handsome he is part of communication. It's part of communication. So this is also important. And importantly, when we communicate, please don't communicate to respond. Sometimes you only talk to listen. Just listen. Many times, one of the things that cause issues between spouses is that one person is talking, the other person is already preparing the answers, even before listening to what the person is saying. So he has a prepared answer, she has a prepared answer. You don't realize that by the time he or she answers, there's no correlation between what you say and the answer. You only lay, so listen, effective communication. Another thing is obedience and submission. This cannot be overemphasized. The two of us must obey and submit ourselves to Almighty Allah. One, but more importantly, the woman must obey and submit herself to her husband. This is basic. The Prophet ﷺ said, if I could have commanded anyone to prostrate before another, I would have told the one to prostrate to her husband, because of the enormity of his right over her. And that's why I mentioned it. The day you marry, your father's right and authority has been transferred to your husband. So you want to manage it. There are husbands that, when the wife and the children hear the sound of his car, they run away, they run inside. What kind of nonsense is this one? Then cooperation. It is important for us to work harmoniously to have an ideal Muslim home. Not that the man is going south with his opinion, the woman is going north. Before we take decisions, let us communicate and talk. In fact, I do say that as a man, you are the financier, the sole financier of the house. Before you take loans, discuss it with your spouse. So that when the finances reduce, she knows the reason why it has reduced. Not that loan kan de lora phone abo lora moto managing ti mori baye ko possible. We should communicate effectively about decisions that can affect every member of the family. I've also mentioned patience is important. Marriage is actually built on the foundation of patience. If you cannot be patient with your wife's shenanigans, please don't get married. If you cannot be patient with your husband's authority, please don't get married. Sometimes as men, we just want to exert and test our powers. Like Hamza al-Mustafa used to say to Abacha. Abacha used to say to Hamza al-Mustafa, are we still in power? He said, yes, we are still in power. So sometimes as men, we just want to test the waters. Are we still in power? You will tell us you want to go out toward the next week. We will not see anything. Tomorrow I'm going to wedding. We will not see anything. In the morning you go and bathe, dress or whatever. All we want to do is to test that power. We are still in power. So our then kindness cannot be overemphasized. Even Almighty Allah mentioned on the issue of talaq, Almighty Allah says, "Wala tansawul fadla bainakum." Even in talaq, ẹ má gbàgbé ìyàtàpọ́nlé tẹ́ ní láàrin ara yín o. Many times when we have disagreement, we say hurtful words to one another, things that should never be said to destroy. We will fight. Ìjà normal. Àwọn náà máa jà ó normal kẹ́ disagree kẹ́ but please ìjà tí ò ní tẹ́ ẹ mọ́ dálẹ̀. Hurtful words ó dùn yẹn ju ẹgbàá lọ. Kéèyàn kan fẹnu ṣátáyà níbi sọ wàlá tó kọ́ bẹ́ẹ̀ wàlá tájúr ìlà fi gbogbo kìíní wà nù sẹ̀rí àbẹ́ kọ báàkì là ọlọ́run kọ ọ̀rọ̀ tí ò dání àbí èpè ká máa ṣépè fúnra wa. It should never happen. Be playful. Ó wà nù what I have said here. Be playful as a man. Even the Rasul was playful with his wives. Àwa serious ni o àti serious jù military man. No, we should not create such environment, and we should always create time for family. Like I said, a program like this should not be something we do once in a year. It should be something we do repeatedly, so that we can all come with our spouses. And to Baba, maybe a couples day out 2.0.1, Yoba 2.0.2. So kaluku ma book time to my free. We come with our spouses. Look at the place we are there, and you come at Kirawa. Wàhálà ìwé náà kẹ́kọ̀ọ́ kan bẹ̀ pé èèmọ̀ mo kárí pé mi wọ́n pè jáde ni wàá ló ṣẹlẹ̀ o. So I have also learned that when I get back home now, I should go and learn the orúkọ of my spouse kí n mọ bọ́ ṣe ń kí wọ́n lé wọn. Òun náà dẹ̀ mọ bọ́ ṣe ń kí àwa náà tápà lé pé òun ló mọ bí ó ti lọ kọ́ yẹn. Now let's talk about stepping into polygyny. You see, one topic that we need to constantly discuss is the issue of polygyny. There is no doubt that Almighty Allah, who created us, knows us better than we know ourselves. And for Almighty Allah to legitimize a thing, it means there is benefit in it for His creation. If it is harmful, He will never make it legitimate. So Ọlọ́run tó ní ẹ̀yin ọkùnrin ẹ lè fẹ́ ju ìyàwó kan lọ. It is because there is benefit in it, not only for the man, but also for the woman. It is we that need to do it right. And let me tell you a secret. I'm a man. Women, forgive us. I'm an advocate of polygyny. You see, there is no way we do it that is right to you. You just have to manage us. Kò sí bá ṣe ṣe to right. Manage you one. A woman once wrote to note to her husband, you are the dream of you are every woman's dream. Ni note tó kọ sí ọkọ years back. The husband now took another wife years later. The woman started crying foul. Posheka, the husband just showed her the note. You said I am every woman's dream. She is just one of those who dreamt. So, stepping into polygyny, we should never be shy to discuss this. And in fact, the more we discuss how beautiful it is and how we can improve it, the more it will be easier for a woman to bear. But know one thing, it is never easy for a woman to share her husband with another woman. It is never easy. This is a fact. Easy. I don't philosophize. Some people will say, you two imagine your wife. I cannot imagine nonsense. To Almighty Allah that legitimize polygyny for man, didn't say a woman should also do the same. So imagine nonsense. I can only imagine what is sensible. So the first thing we need to do is again to check our intention. You see, there's a difference between a man who took another wife, say for instance because he has a high libido, and a man who lacks sexual discipline. You see, a man who lacks sexual discipline, even if you give him 100 wives, he will still do the rubbish he want to do. So ototoni, let us be intentional. Our intention has to be we want to do it right. We want to do it right. Torí ìwọ tó mara rẹ Indomie and you want to go and marry another woman. You are Indomie, you have a beans as a wife. Please just manage it like that. I don't Indomie, you have a beans as a wife. Ọwọ́ àlọ́ náwó mú àgbàdo. Ẹ̀wà gbé tó wà ní òtí ilé ṣe é jiná. Ọ̀tún á lè náwó mú àgbàdo. Dá wà lálẹ́. Under intention, and I do tell my fellow men this, and our Imam Sanke Ishigo also, say the same thing. Never take a second wife because you have an issue with your first wife, or resolve the issue. You see, your intention should never be, I have issues with my wife, I want to take a second wife to spite her. Wallahi, that is wrong. And no matter Allah may punish you for that. Oh, wrong. Should never be. Set issue pẹ̀lú ìyàwó rẹ. There are reasons, legitimate reasons for polygyny. Legitimate reasons. And many times we don't even need the reason. Need the reason. To repay, if your wife sits you down and say, give me a single reason why you want a second wife, you will go ahead and the reason. That makes sense. So be intentional. Make sure that your intention is not to spite, is not to punish, is not to make her, look inferior, but it is because you want to, worship Almighty Allah as part of your responsibility as a man. Number 2, be kind. Be kind. If I once intervened in a marriage between a couple who are Abroadians, none of them is a Nigerian. I think the husband is the wife is a UK citizen. The husband is, I think, Oman or thereabout. But the husband was my Facebook friend. So when he told me about it, I told him I have 5 advices for you. Number 1, be kind to your wife. Be kind. You see, if before now you used to get angry over minor issues, minor things that you do, from now on, don't get angry over those issues again, because it will only aggravate and worsen the situation. Number 2, please be generous to her. Whatever you are giving your wife before you took a second wife, try to increase it so that she will know that not even someone coming to share with her will reduce her rights. Things you will be giving her. I mean, what I pay before now, you are giving your 50k per month. You know, to say, well, if you need 25 long about all that wala le taro. But if you cannot increase it to 70, 75, don't reduce it from that 50. Just come and will affect you. If you can see 2-bedroom or 3-bedroom flat, you took a second and say, I don't manage. Because into do. All no wale mean. You all no wala to kuraresi. I said, number 3, create more time for your wife now. Because before now, she used to have you in the house, so she knows you will always come back to her every night. Now that you will be sharing the night with someone else, it means that our time will be reduced also. Now, create virtual time. Since you will not be physically present there. Virtual time whereby you discuss when you are at work, and she will not feel that your absence so much with her. I said number 4. Assist your wife in her domestic responsibilities if you have not been doing that before. Assist here. Before you took a second wife, because balebo, now that you have taken a second wife, to give her that guarantee that you are still the same man she married. Warm yourself to her. So let's reduce your way. Find a way, create that time of assisting her with 1 or 2 things. Koto jilaro, talo for boy, mo ti be foja re pe ko le ba raye sun. Eyin obìnrin náà ẹ má wá sọ dojú ọwọ́ o pé daddy Muse abo wan kisi. Nibo impossible. So you see, I said them, and then finally on that, is that create time for the 2 of you to spend away from home. It is important. Sometimes during our own days, where 2 days, let's say, be whatever you do, just create time away from the burdens of the children running around the house, taking your time. Just the 2 of you. Only get 2 hours. Only get 3 hours. It could be the whole weekend, depending on how you're sharing your night. Just spend it somewhere else, away from the home, to give her that sense of, I am still your husband that you married. So that is important. Then Managing polygyny also requires patience. Mo ti sọ yẹn because of time repeat yẹn mọ́. Sùúrù rẹ̀ ó lékún o. If your patience before now was 100, tó o bá ti fẹ́ yàwó kejì, dákun raise yẹ to power 1000. Torí pé wọ́n á frustrate ayé rẹ̀ ó normal. Àwọn obìnrin náà máa fẹ́ test water pé am I also still in power? So mo pé before now, ìwọ ló mọ ọ̀rọ̀ tó ń pa fọ́mọ ọlọ́mọ tó kó igbó sí lórí ẹyin jù mi. The only cockroach in my cupboard, the only kini kan in my tea. Ìwọ ó ti sọ fún pé the only. Nísìnyí wọ́n ti wá pé méjì. Òun náà wá fẹ́ test wípé am I still the only? Ó sì mọ̀ pé kò ṣe the only mọ́. You will now have to manage her shenanigans. Ó normal, ó manage ẹ̀ ni. Bí bàbá tiẹ̀ náà ṣe manage ti ya tiẹ̀ náà nà lọ fi báyà rẹ̀ lé. So it is important. Then be expressive. As a man in a polygyny, you need to be expressive with your thoughts and your decisions. Don't assume that oyekoma now, oyekoma bawo, oyekoma. Take for instance, one of your wives is sick, nobody to stay with her at the hospital. You have to stay at the hospital with her, and it is on the night of the other wife. Number one, you need a permission. If she doesn't grant you that permission, you cannot go there. Wọ́n bá lè rent yẹn tí o do hospital, wọ́n lè rent yẹn ni. Torí pé òun ló ní alẹ́. So you have to be expressive. Wọ́n ló mọ ẹ̀bùn tó rà fún. Bóyá kàn send láti kan sí bim. Bálẹ̀ mi, mo rọ́ báyìí. Àmọ̀kẹ́ ọmọ bínú tiẹ̀. Sọrí n tó ṣẹlẹ̀ ní àṣàlàyé. Sọ pé owó táwọn arábí bá ti rí owó oníṣẹ́ tí yóò ṣe. So now, most importantly, be capable. You see, don't walk into polygyny with your heart. Walk in it with your head. If you walk into it with your heart, you will make terrible decisions. Oh, we are financially capable, but ronú pẹ̀lú orí rẹ̀, òun fọkàn ronú, ọtí rí sister kan orí rẹ̀ tí wọ́n ń dàrú díẹ̀ ọwọ́ ń tẹ̀lé ọkàn, tẹ̀lé orí rẹ̀. Sit down with your salary, calculate. O pápá sí wọ́n. Àwọn tá ń bímọ la mọ ẹlòmíì ti dáwọ́ ọmọ dúró kò ní òkú nínú ìkẹ́ Ọlọ́run mọ́. That's why you are stopping having children. O pampers, o food nǹkankan, ó ti lé ẹlòmíì jìnnà pé wo Àmọ̀kẹ́ láyé Tinubu yìí tí ẹ parí kò sí oyún nílé yìí ẹlòmíì ti bá débẹ̀. So be capable, all important too. Now capability into 4 places more divided because of my time. Number one, be financially capable, and this is very important. As a man, sit down and make calculations. Can I afford this? Most times we spend on luxuries than on basics. When you had your first wife, she was the only person. You can afford to spend on luxuries. But now that you have a second wife, it means that your finances will be affected. Ronú dáadáa kó tó take a decision. Number two, be emotionally capable. Emotional capability is what is lacking in many polygynous marriages. Wọ́n ọkùnrin tí ó yẹ pé ọ̀rọ̀ kékeré o ti káyà òkè ọwọ́ lọ fẹ́yàwó méjì. One woman is trouble. Number three, mental capability. You must be able to withstand mental challenges. Tí polygyny máa kó wá tó máa kó báyìí, so you don't break up easily. Look, you are the only person everybody is looking up to. If you break down, the whole family will break down. Number four, time. Know that you can create time for all your wives. If you know your time is tight, need time, don't have more than one wife. Women need time and attention. If you cannot create time and attention, just hold on to one. Another point is be just. Justice is the foundation of polygynous marriage in Islam. Almighty Allah said it. فَإِنْ خِفْتُمْ أَلَّا تَعْدِلُوا فَوَاحِدًا. If you know you will not be just, one is enough. On the day of judgment, the Prophet said, any man who has more than one wife and is unjust to the other, or is just to one, unjust to the other, on the day of judgment, he will appear before Allah with one side of his body paralyzed. Structure your own properly. You see, a monogamous marriage is very simple. One room, one room, ìyàwó, àwọn ọmọ, ìyẹn simple. Polygyny is complex. You have to be able to structure your physical home properly. Oh, important. Tó o bá ti mọ̀ pé ó fẹ́ yà ọjọ́ ẹ̀kọ́ lọ́jọ́ tó o ti fẹ́ kọ́lé ló ti kọ́ ọmọlé. Bálẹ̀ mi, ibo ni bí àwọn àlejò ní torí ta bá ní ìwọ sì ti mọ̀ ọ ti mọ ẹni tí ń bọ̀. And finally and most importantly, please let us be responsible. Now when I talk about responsibility, responsibility covers everything. Spiritual responsibility, financial responsibility, and so on and so forth. If you are not responsible as a man, don't go into polygyny. If you are not responsible as a woman, don't accept to enter polygyny with a man. Okay, so you see, one thing I've always said, and this is a quote I invented myself, nobody has said it before me, only those that will say it after me, is that everyone deserves a happy home. It is not a question of whether you can afford it, but a question of whether you can afford not to have it. So let us build a happy home for ourselves, and let us most importantly be prayerful, because like Sheikh Kabir Al-Asfar rightly mentioned, one big mission that Shaitan hopes to achieve and accomplish every day is to break our homes. The Prophet